Hey folks, welcome to another edition of PosiTIPS with Rachelle. Folks, I am really enjoying this series entitled What's Your Problem? What's Your Problem? And last time really focused on the fact that, so many people want to take the easy way out. People want to take the easy way out, whether it's, any area of challenge or problem that folks face in life. It's often easier to just take the easy way out, and instead of someone working to develop an exercise regimen, healthy diet, and overcome health challenges or weight challenges that way, no, it's easier for people. They want a pill, they want a shot, they want to, and that's why fad diets have been so prevalent, for decades. But so I always want to challenge you, don't take the easy way out. Have the courage, have the confidence, but have the perseverance and the tenacity to be able to do things that may be hard, Anything worth having in life is going to require a lot of effort, and many times it's difficult. All right, so any word, it's often said that again, the difficult things that you have to work for in life, that you have to persevere and not give up, and really, with every fiber of your being, work hard and stay focused to attain. Those are the things worth having, and those are the things that you cherish in all of that. And so, folks, this time I wanted to really go in a different direction and challenge you to think about the fact that when you're uncovering what the real problems are in your life, and this is where this series earlier this year where I talked about, again, courage for change, process of change, and all of that, you've got to be able to recognize that a lot of times when we face problems in life, but when we're committed to solving the real problem, folks are not going to clap for you. If you're one that needs constant encouragement and you're on the right path, and yeah, you may hire a life coach to be able to fill that role for you, and that person will be in a professional capacity to be able to do that for you. All right, but the average person, just does not have the capacity to endlessly be your cheerleader for the next 10, 15 years, whatever the case may be, or the rest of your life. And so that's just putting false expectations on another person in general. And so, but just recognize that, people, particularly if you're making changes, you're making positive changes, you're addressing problems that have been long standing, you're going to be rocking the boat in many cases. And if you think people are always going to be, oh, this is great, I've been able to just use and abuse you for the last 15 years, and now you're taking a stand, and now you're setting boundaries, and now you've determined that you deserve better than this. When you start taking a stand and being assertive and asserting your boundaries and all of that, other people are not going to like it. They're not going to like it because you're rocking the boat, you're shaking up the status quo. Or if you've never been able to tell your best friend no, whether she calls you at the last minute to do something, or I need to borrow your car, or whatever the case may be, the minute you start telling that best friend no, he may tell you, hey, what's wrong with you? What's up with you, dude? What's happening, bruh? But so recognize you gotta be committed enough and confident enough and courageous enough to be able to proceed forward. Sometimes when you're making particularly major life changes, you may be alone. You may be just kind of riding along the highway of living your best life, or aspiring and moving towards living your best life. You're driving alone in the car because no one wants to go on that journey with you. And I think that's where a lot of people, it's easy to get derailed and say, well, I'm all alone. Nobody supports me. Nobody believes in me. And that's where the power of belief, particularly the power of self-belief, comes in. All right, you got to be convinced. You got to be convicted to know, hey, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing for me. I'm doing the right thing for my family. If you've been working overtime for the last 2 years, but then all of a sudden you decide to make your family a priority, and you say, hey, boss, I've missed so many of my children's activities. I've committed, in this fourth quarter of 2019 and 2020 and beyond, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm leaving at 6 o'clock, just no excuses or whatever. But you got to recognize that boss who has grown accustomed to you. Now the status quo of you is you working overtime, no problems. He or she, your boss, could count on you, without any reservations to do that. For 2 years you've been doing it, and it hasn't been a problem. But then all of a sudden now you've uncovered your children are having some emotional problems because you're simply not there. You're not spending time. They're feeling abandoned. They're feeling rejected. Then you decide, okay, one of the solutions to that problem is I can't work so much. All right, but so be prepared for your boss, and a lot of people, there may be a lot of fears hidden behind that. What if I get fired? What if my boss doesn't like me anymore? What if my boss doesn't give me a raise this year? Those fears are going to permeate, particularly when you're taking a stand that you've never taken before. Fear is human, fear is natural, but the only difference is, the people that succeed proceed, move forward in the face of fear, armed with courage. Hey, I'm going to have this conversation with my boss, but my family is my number one priority. A person may think, or certainly has decided, I've got to do this for my family. Because if you're wavering, if you're unsure, and then that person tries to talk you out of your decision, and that fear creeps in, you got to be convicted. You got to be convinced to know this is the right thing for me. Somebody may say, I've been overweight for the last 20 years and my health is suffering. I've got to make some changes. All right, so the family members that are used to you making heavily cheese doused macaroni and cheese and all of these fried foods and never exercising, recognize when you shake up the status quo, when you rock the boat and all of a sudden you've joined a gym or you've hired a personal trainer and you're seeing a nutritionist and now your family meals are going to start changing and becoming more healthy. Mom, why are you doing that? Dad, why are you doing that? Or, your significant other, oh, you got all this time now to go to the gym and you're neglecting me and all of this. You just got to be prepared. That's why it's easy for people to stay stuck in problems, because of the courage and the confidence and certainly the confrontation in many cases that's going to be required to go to the next level. And so you can do it. I know you can do it. I've been in a number of situations myself where, I've made positive life changes, and it's just, I'm firmly convinced, the only one that is responsible for my life and my happiness is me. So it's my responsibility to protect that. I can't look to other people to always treat me right and know what my boundaries are and what I will accept and what I won't accept. That's my responsibility to have those boundaries, to enact those boundaries, and to protect those boundaries. So I'm not used, abused, mistreated, or whatever, and then walking around with a victim mentality talking about how people are always mistreating me. No, in life we can be a victor or we can be a victim. All right, and so we can't spend our lives complaining, whining about what someone is doing to us when we haven't taken a stand. So take a stand for yourself. Take a stand for what's important to you today. I'm firmly convinced you can do it. You have what it takes. So just take that step. But it all starts with a decision. Once you firmly make that decision, the rest will follow. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Stay tuned for next week. But until then, remember, I am positively passionate about your success and happiness. Make it a great day.